I've been doing push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, flying Han Solo on this mission here today. Happily to be joined by you throughout the next 60 minutes or so. We got a lot to talk about, including cancellations. Here we go again. Another week, another game canceled. Luckily, this time, it's a week ahead. So it's next week, week 7. We'll talk about that, and we'll see what the solutions are, and if we can come up with some solutions together about how we circumvent or deal with these cancellations across not just one sport, but many sports, and what the solution should be. We'll talk about that on today's Power Hour. We're also going to talk about not just the cancellation side of things. We're going to talk about the mercy clock and how we should look at the mercy clock in today's day and age of sports. There's a lot of different takes on this. I'm going to give you mine. I want to hear from you as well on today's Power Hour. But first, before we get to anything else, it's time for On This Day in Sports History. All right, so on this day in sports history, September 20th, 1973, Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs in a Battle of the Sexes tennis match, one that tennis legend Billie Jean King was known for. I mean, she had so much talent, and she wasn't afraid to go up against boys, or men, I should say, which leads me into the conversation of what sport do you feel like, other than soccer, because I think they do that already, if I'm not mistaken. I know they've done it in the past. I'm not sure if they still do it. What sport do you feel like boys and girls can be on the same playing field? And I'm going to give you a sport that's brand new to the OHSAA on the boys' side that I think the girls still will always have the leg up on in this sport for years to come. And that is volleyball. There are some legit, and I mean really, really good volleyball programs here in Northeast Ohio. We've been blessed to watch, and I think that it would be such a challenge for the boys to start their program and try to defeat some of these, I would even argue, middle-of-the-road volleyball teams that we see, because the girls have been doing it longer. They're a lot stronger in the sport from a mental capacity, knowing the game, understanding the game, the IQ of it. I think that boys will adapt it, but I don't know how many teams and how many schools are going to have the buy-in necessarily needed. I know, I believe Southern's definitely one of them, and there was a couple other ones that were interested. I think there was one in Columbiana, Mahoning, and Trumbull County that we were talking about just a few weeks ago. But I think it's going to take some time to get to be a mainstay here in Ohio in boys volleyball. I'm here for it. Listen, let's not get it twisted. I'm here for it. I can't wait for it, because boys are naturally stronger physically than girls. It's just, and it's DNA, it's anatomy. But I don't know, the mental toughness of being able to come back time and time again. It's I think the girls have the edge on that one. The ball is going to be flying around for the boys. I think they're more willing to make mistakes at that age. So there's going to be less of a governor on kind of what they're doing. I think they're going to go all out. Not that girls don't, but I think that it's going to be, more fun, especially to start for boys, because they're out there just having fun. And there's not going to be enough teams, I don't think, to compete for conference championships and things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of progresses. But volleyball is the one sport that I think that girls will have the leg up in for a while. And if you put boys and girls together from that standpoint, it would be really fun to watch. A little co-ed volleyball, very fun to watch. I'd sign up for that, because I think it'd be really, really interesting to see kind of how things progress. And what schools. I bet you Southerns would be phenomenal at it. Some of these teams, Wellsville, would be outstanding. So we'll see how it goes. But Billie Jean King, on this day in sports history, gets a big win in the Battle of the Sexes. And I think that volleyball would be that sport that you circle on your YSN calendar as a sport that the girls would prevail. I'd even say 9 times out of 10. 8 times probably is more suitable. 80-20 rule, right? But I would say 9 times out of 10. So that's your on this day in sports history. So now we get to cancellations. So next week, as it broke earlier this morning, Canfield is looking for a game now in week 7 because a team from Cleveland decided they're out. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was illness or what kind of the doctor prescribed to cancel this, but we've been through a pandemic, right, in the last 2 years. This is turning into an epidemic of cancellations. And I'm a little bit frustrated, not just for the teams that are going through it, the teams that are kind of caught holding the bag, but I'm a little tired of it from teams that just don't want to play. We talked about a team last, like showing up is half the battle. At this point in their young lives, you have to show these teenagers how to finish strong, how to finish not strong, just finish. It's half the battle is showing up. And if you say, hey, you know what? We're not going to show up because we don't feel like we have a chance. Like, it's the equivalent to me as the kid at the arcade who wins one game and retires as champion. Only nobody's winning. They're not even winning. They're just going out and they look at their schedule and they go, yeah, you know what? Not a good matchup for us. We're gonna take a knee on this one. It's happening in football a lot. And, we sat here 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we sat here, oh, the OHSAA, if they cancel our season, what are we doing to our kids? What are we doing? We were frontliners for these teams. We sat there and we criticized the OHSAA. We criticized Governor DeWine. We criticized every aspect you could of people that were trying to protect your kids, but they didn't want them to play games because they were trying to protect them. And now here we are 2 years later, and it's like we got a taste in our mouth of, hey, we played 6 games. That wasn't so bad because we could basically, they ripped up all the contracts and we just played who we thought we wanted to play at that moment. This is not the way you want to go. This is not the dirt path that you want to put down asphalt and chip and seal. I can tell you this because the road we're heading down right now is a road that if you don't feel like you have a chance or if it's in your best interest to cancel, you do that because, well, now we have the divisor There's 16 teams that make the playoffs. Now we might be able to slip in, but we can't play this team because if we lose, we're not getting any points. Or we're not getting what we feel. We're better off not playing the game than playing it and losing. So you take your ball and you run home. This is not just, by the way, the situation that we're talking about, the team in Cleveland. We're not isolating that. This is a full-blown, this is what is happening behind closed doors. And it's disturbing. It's disgusting because 2 years ago, these coaches, these administrators were pounding on the table saying, we want to play. Let our kids play. And now it's, well, we'll play if it benefits us directly. If not, it's not a big deal. And it's frustrating because we fought. And these kids fought. And these parents fought for their kids to play. Even in the middle of a pandemic where being around people was not a good idea. And I'm not saying that that's the pandemic's over. Like nobody ever said, hey, plant the flag. We're done here. Corona just kind of keeps coming around and we're learning how to deal with it. Nobody has the answer. But these schools and administrators and whoever involved, whether it be the teams, the coaches, I'm sure it's a case-by-case scenario. They feel that they can kind of propose martial law and say, yeah, we're not going to play you. Because if you lose, you don't get what's best for your team. You're better off not playing. You're better off canceling games. There's contracts that these teams sign. Let's say it's a 1-1. It doesn't mean anything anymore. People are looking at these contracts and they're not worth the ink that is spilled on them because, you know what? We're just going to pass. We're going to take a knee on this. What are you going to do about it? The OHSAA needs to step in. The OHSAA needs to step in and say, if you cancel for whatever reason, we're going to pull the Band-Aid off. We're going to rip it right off. And you are going to be forfeit. With that forfeit, no points will accumulate for you. And whoever you were supposed to play will be rewarded. I mean, am I alone on this? At the end of the day, I don't want to make this political, but if I pay my taxes and let's say a neighbor doesn't pay theirs, shouldn't they get penalized? I should be able to reap the benefits of whatever my community, my government, state, federal has to offer because I'm doing my part. We learned in preschool, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you keep your hands to yourself, if you do everything you're supposed to do that the teacher asks you to do, you're rewarded with a sticker. You add up enough stickers and you get a prize. That's how we're supposed to make this up. That's how everything's made up. That's how the economy is made up. If you go to work enough days, you get paid and you get to go buy things. A roof over your head, a new TV, whatever it may be. But we're going to say things are different now in sports because we're just going to play teams that we think we can win. You want to sign? Let's play each other. Absolutely. Week before the game. Why did we sign up for Canfield again? Why did we sign up for this team? We're not going to beat them. Why did we sign up for that? Cancel it. What are they going to do? And they're right. Canfield is, I have to imagine these teams, not just Canfield, the teams that get canceled on. are so frustrated because it takes 2 years ahead of time to build these contracts. 2 years. Because ATs don't want to be stuck with the bag the year of and not being able to find teams to play. So they do it in 24 months out, typically. Are they going to have to start scheduling 36 months out? 48 months out? 10 years out? I get it when you don't have enough players. I get it when it's a safety issue. I get it all across the board. But something doesn't smell right here. Something doesn't smell right with all these cancellations nowadays. And I can't be the only one that's starting to get that whiff of, if it doesn't smell like it's legit, it's probably not. And this stinks. This is an odor of it that you don't want to go near. It's a frustrating thing. And probably the people that are most frustrated are athletic directors. I have to believe. That's a huge part of their job is to make sure that there are games to be played. Filling schedules. During 2020, I would argue it was the job that nobody wanted, was an athletic director. I would argue to this day, it's still a job that nobody wants because you have situations like this that arise, right? And there's not a whole lot of accountability to be held. The frustration, you can be as mad as you want. Go push a wall, right? It doesn't matter. These teams, these districts are doing whatever is best for the district, which I get. Trust me, I understand it. But if it's at the expense of another district, I don't like it. It's not a dog eat dog. This is education. This is being paid for by the state, taxpayers across the entire Buckeye State, wherever you are. To just wave the white flag and then miraculously come back the week after that is interesting. And again, I'm not pointing out just one team. I'm pointing out many teams. And again, safety aside, actually, I retract that. Safety even included. A cancellation should, from here on out, result in a forfeit. No points will be awarded to the losing team. No benefits shall be imposed to the losing team or the forfeiting team. And all the riches shall be rewarded to the team that shows up. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. Most of these, by the way, are teams that are going on the road. There's that smell again. I'm not tasting it because I can smell it. It stinks. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We're sitting here at a point where you've got guys that are fighting for their programs with 13 people, 13 boys on the roster, or 7 girls on the volleyball roster. Letting kids down. Not just the kids that aren't going to play from the other side. It's your kids. Those same kids that 2 years ago you pounded the table for and you said, we're going to find a way to get on the field, Johnny. Here you are, 2 years later. Well, Johnny, if we don't play the game, we're better off. These kids, in the direct quote of one of my good friends, who's a coach here, you have precious moments. We all know it. We all miss them. Spoken like a true ex-jock, right? These kids have precious moments. that somebody's and our Ohio government sat and said, we can't give you a full season, but we'll give you 6 games 2 years ago. Here we are 2 years later. And we're saying, you know what? I know these moments are very special for you. We know what happens in the world of mental health with all the hype around mental health, and I'm a huge advocate for it. Do we really believe in that when we do things like this for our kids? We expect our kids to go to practice. We expect our kids to do the right thing. We expect our kids to go out there and give it their all at everything they do. And we're trying to teach them, values and morals, and then this. And then it's okay to give up. It's okay not to go to practice. It's okay to No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not okay. You finish what you start. Man, it's a really good book. Wait. There's nothing left. Imagine if the author of a great book that you want to read or a television show that you want to watch just right in the middle of it cuts it. That's the equivalent of what's happening here. You would be, especially for all you binge watchers out there and streaming, you would go bananas. You would go, it would be a absolute travesty. You'd go on every message board, the dark web. You'd go all over the place and trash this. But nobody wants to sit there and ask these coaches or whoever it may be, why are you doing this to my kid now? Because usually when they cancel, again, outside of safety reasons, it's because it benefits that program in some way. So it begs the question, do we really need 16 teams in football in the postseason? Would this happen if we had 8 teams, 4 teams in the playoffs? My answer to that, nope. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm pretty certain that 80% of the teams qualify for the playoffs. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely nuts. There's teams that haven't won a game that are in the playoff chase right now. We're in week 6. There's something wrong with that. And there's teams that will say, listen, let's get healthy this week. We'll come back next, and they will make the playoffs. Which is why I'm adding a caveat onto that. If you cancel a game, you're disqualified for the playoffs. What, we're going to be tough on kids that open enroll? We're going to be tough on kids that decide to switch schools for whatever reason it may be, if it's athletics, whatever. I don't advocate that. But if they change schools because they're being bullied or because one thing or another for academics, because they want a better opportunity, they want to be challenged more, we're going to be tough on them. But these schools that are taking shortcuts, and listen, I can't really sit here and say that I wouldn't be doing the same thing if there were no repercussions for my actions. So you got to put a little bit of that paddle in the back of somebody's mind and say, guess what? You do something, poor choices, get poor prizes. And hey, coach, or hey, athletic director, or hey, superintendent, hey, administrator, hey, board of ed, name it. You want to cancel, you're not going to the playoffs. So the conversation that's really tough, right? The one that you should be having with your kids, now you have to have. Not the one that you pick up the phone call or the phone and you sit there and you go, hey, yeah, we're not going to be able to make it a week from now or 2 weeks from now. Yeah, we're sick. You know what I mean? It doesn't add up. It's a lot easier to make that call, to somebody that you either don't know, you don't like, you don't respect. The list goes on and on. I would argue if you put repercussions, easy for me to say, on those decisions, you don't get any points and you're out for the playoffs. Well, we have COVID. Well, give us some negative tests. We have 3 kids that have COVID. Okay, well, how many kids do you have on the team? That's unfortunate. I'm sorry. These are the rules drawn up. No participation trophies. It's a bad situation, but it's one that we've been dealt a bad hand over the last 2-3 years. Let's be honest. Let's sit here and let's just be brutally honest with ourselves. If you're willing to cancel that game, you should be willing to cancel the season. Tell me where I'm wrong. Oh, kids can get better. They can get. Who are you dodging? And why are you doing that? Aren't we supposed to have David versus Goliath matchups? Aren't we supposed to show our kids that it doesn't matter what's in front of you? That's why we play the game. Opportunities are out there. Not, hey, let's do calculated risk and sit here and go, well, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. We have a 2.5% chance of winning this game. And no, you get out there and you play. Get out there and show your best against their best. And if you come up short, so what? You finish. You finish. So tired of being soft. Soft mentalities. It's like you got to get tough. You have to get stronger. We're seeing in the pros now. We're seeing Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns say, please don't boo us. Please don't boo us. That's disrespectful. Kat, you live in a bigger house than anybody booing you. If you're not doing your job, you deserve to be booed. If I'm not doing my job, trust me, I hear about it. That's part of being in the public eye. Myles Garrett, you don't want that life? There's one way to go. Go do something else. I'm sure somebody else would like your spot. Same with the Browns. Same with any professional athlete. It drives me nuts. You got guys from the Steelers that, I mean, I'll just throw it out. Deontay Johnson. He's a guy that he canceled his appearance to a youth camp because he wasn't getting what he wanted financially from the Steelers. What? And I know I spun this to a national, but like, this is where it starts, folks. This is where it starts. You start canceling and you think it's okay. These kids start getting that taste in their mouth of, hey, I can do what I want and I don't have to answer to anybody. Wrong again. Wrong again. It's accountability and it's 100% real. And the problem is nowadays we just brush everything under the rug and let it go. Accountability. Actions need reactions. It's science. I paid attention that day. It's science. If you're going to cancel a game in whatever sport, in whatever season, outside of weather, or I would say, again, COVID, do I know how to do? No, but you got to make some tough choices, right? Now, you can't do it in baseball with rain delays and bad weather again. Unfortunate field conditions. But let me ask you this question. How many cancellations are we seeing? I can think of one in the back of my mind right now that was COVID related. The other ones are just kind of, we don't think we're going to have enough guys. Well, you don't think? How many does it take? Well, we got to take safety precautions. Okay, so if you got 11 guys, you should be playing football. If you have 13 guys, if you have 20 guys, girls, whatever, you should be playing football. You should be playing that sport. If you have 7 volleyball players, you should be playing volleyball. If you have gosh, I don't know how many people are on a soccer field. 7, 8? You should be playing soccer, not canceling. The cancel culture is it needs to go. Get out. Not invited. You're not here anymore. That's 2020. Gone. Over. Cancel culture. See ya. You should not be canceling games unless they are absolutely, unequivocally not able to be played. If there are safety issues, fine. List them and let the OHSAA do what they're paid to do and make a judgment. And if it comes back after investigation that you should have played that game or you had enough people to field a team, you lose the game and you're out of the tourney. How is that not fair? Because now, just when they created the face mask rule, right, in football, you think twice before you do it. You think twice before you tackle somebody high. Open enrollment, you think twice because you might have to sit out the back half of the year. We're going to enforce that, but we're not going to enforce coaches, administrations, athletic directors, whatever, whoever, canceling games. I've got no dog in the fight, but I see something that is becoming a real big problem. Typically, you don't see conference games getting canceled. Wonder why that is. Because everybody wants a conference championship, coach. It's incredible to me. Absolutely incredible. And the next thing after the break we're going to talk about is the mercy clock and what it has become. And I don't like the way it's going. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More on the Power Hour after this message from our great sponsors.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com
or find us on Facebook.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Appreciate you hanging out with us here today, this Tuesday that has been, there's a lot, and I mean a lot going on. Don't forget tonight, the first ever Coach's Corner and Player Profile for South Range. That is going to be live from Legends over in Boardman. We're excited for that partnership, as well as a couple other ones we'll be announcing. But Dan Yeagley and I believe the entire offensive line and maybe some special guests will be joining us on the air at Legends. Come out, come one, come all. Let's pack this place and show them what South Range is all about. It's going to be a great show, great turnout we're expecting, and great food. Great food, great drinks, and obviously a great time is going to be had by all. So we're excited for that. And also certainly do not want to overlook, and I'm going to pull this up so I get them all right, because Stevie is on fire right now with how many people he's bringing tonight to the Golden Dawn. So tonight, he's asking all Irish fans here in week 6 to come out. As the Irish are 4-1, he wants you to come out tonight at 7:00 to the Golden Dawn. Hannah Zetz, the cheerleader, is going to be interviewed. Ashley Fabry, Colton Ross, the offensive lineman, Michael Branch, OLDL. We've got Dan Reardon, of course, the legendary head coach of the Ursuline Irish. Johnny Naples of the Golden Dawn. Ethan Palowitz, the Ursuline alum and also at YSU Athletics. All going to be on hand, and Stevie wants you to be out there 7 to 8. The Golden Dawn tonight. Irish fans, get there. And the way I understand it, you want to get there early because that place fills up quick with green and gold. And at the Golden Dawn, they obviously love their Irish stuff, and especially this. This has been phenomenal. And we're looking to do it across the board. More announcements to come. Again, tonight, 7:30 at Legends, 7:00 at the Golden Dawn. Burgundy and gold, green and gold. You're all gold. Make sure you get there and take part. I mean, if you've got questions, we want you to ask those questions and get on the air and talk to and about these players, because it's special. It's a special, different opportunity that hasn't been done before. And once again, here we are breaking ground. So again, Golden Dawn 7:00 and Legends 7:30 here on YSN, and get out there. Be part of the shows. Be a part of it. Great food across the board. I can't say it enough. My mouth's starting to water just thinking about the food at Legends and the food at Golden Dawn. Like, unbelievable staples in our community. Legends, kind of a newer brand. I met Rick Frida, who is one of the principal owners, and he loves the idea of what we're doing and a huge supporter of us. Got to talk to him for a few hours last week, and I'm excited to get out there, get him some swag, and we want to get you out there. Bring your burgundy and gold if you're coming to Legends. We want to make that place like group picture style and make that place one of the premier sports bars and restaurants in this area. So make sure you bring your burgundy and gold and bring some questions with you. We'll chuck it up, and we'll let you guys kind of get on the air as well. All right. So the second half of this show, next few minutes or so, I want to talk about the mercy clock, because it's one thing that I've, again, started to really become aware of. And this is going to, I don't want to say it's a touchy subject, but this is very subjective, because it just depends on where you're at. We talked about injuries already. There's some teams that just are overcoming injuries and they just cannot keep up. I mean, the injury bug has been biting hard. Liberty, Poland, we saw it bite Jefferson pretty hard a couple weeks ago. It's started to nibble at South Range. Losing Luke Starkey for we think is the year. Their kicker that probably could kick a 55-yard field goal, no problem. It was 42 officially, 43 officially, but like I said on the broadcast, it would have been good from 50 plus, no problem. The injury bug can affect how you go forward in a game. Volleyball as well. Volleyball, I think, less, because you have to finish regardless. You're going to 25 unless you're in the third or the fifth set, and then you're going to 15. But you see this in football right now. You're starting to see it in basketball now with a 35-point clock, mercy clock, that if you're up by 35, the clock's just going to run. I think they could have done 30. I've had spirited debates inside these friendly confines that 30 is like, what's the difference between 30 and 35? But the answer is 35 is for basketball. 30 is for football. I don't know that there's any other mercy rules other than the 10 run in baseball and softball. But you look at that and you go, huh. Are teams using that now to their advantage? And let me open the door for you here, because people are probably raising their eyebrows. Okay, if you're down by 30, how are you using that to your advantage? Well, what is supposed to be a mercy clock from just making sure that kids don't get hurt, right? Because when you're down 30, this chip that lives right on your shoulder, right? It just grows and it grows. And everything that happens from there on out, before the mercy clock was installed, parents are pissed. Kids are pissed. Coaches are pissed. Just across the board. Everybody's upset and just foaming at the mouth. And everybody becomes rabid and they just start enter this 30-point clock, and people are like, oh, okay, well, hey, you know what? You know what, dear? We're going to get home at a pretty doggone good time tonight. We're going to get home at 9 o'clock. We'll be able to put YSN on, and we'll be able to watch the rest of the games after watching our game. That clock was installed so injuries didn't happen. So it kind of took the snake out of the bag, I guess, right? You're not guessing what you're getting. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it 1,000 times. That mercy clock should not give whatever team's ahead any opportunity to show mercy. That mercy clock's there to prevent them from hurting you, from hurting your team. Because it's obvious you can't stop them. But now we're seeing more and more coaches using this mercy clock as a crutch. Listen, it's varsity sports. I'm sorry. I have to be that guy. Do I want to see my kid get run by 30 points? Do I want to see my kid or my team lose by 35 and have this invoked? No way. But here we are. This big mercy clock's like a bear in the room, right? And we're just snuggling up right next to it. We're bad. We're bad. We know we're bad. We know we're going to get our butts kicked. Hey, guys, listen. Not that they're trying to get to 35, but sometimes you look at, or 30 in football's case, sometimes you look at scenarios and you go, huh, why are we running the ball down 30? Why are we doing fullback dives down 30? Quarterback draws down 30. You're embracing the clock. You're trying to get out of there. The same reason I don't agree with 8-minute quarters, 10-minute quarters. No. Those are the same teams that would say, why even play? You are literally on the path to that. You are not like, you want to talk about blurred lines. You are staring at it. You are one hand in, one hand out, like hokey pokey style. You are one step away from becoming a quitter. And let me ask you this. These coaches get so fired up. These players get these parents. Why would you, like, how do you get your kids fired up knowing that if you go down 30, white towel, white flag, whatever it is, throw in the towel, white flag's waving. No. Those kids didn't give up on you. They showed up. You can't give up on them. I don't know why coaches would ever ask for 8-minute clock or 10-minute clock or whatever, any time to be taken off of the clock other than, no, I can't think of it. They'll say safety, but that's a cop-out. I'm happy that my coach would be worried about my kid and their safety. However, we know what we signed up for. And we know why we signed up. I signed up so we can get opportunities for my child that he wouldn't have elsewhere or she wouldn't have elsewhere. Right? Not so they can learn how to cut corners and be home by 9 o'clock after a football game, after a softball game, after whatever it may be. Why would you ever, like, if a referee, and this is me, and I get it, it's subjective, and I open with that. If I was a coach and a referee came over to me and goes, hey, you want to go 10 minutes or 8 minutes? No, sir, I do not. Precious moments. That's what these kids have. That's what these kids want. We want it for our kids. And I want it for every single person that plays sports. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the way things are trending, there's a reason for it. I'm not going to get into those reasons. Sports is one of the last pure things that we have to share with our children, to share with kids in our district. If you take any of that away by the decisions that you make, you should look at yourself in the mirror and be ashamed. The kids will get stronger from the losses. The kids will get stronger because they finished. Quitting, in no sense of the word, should be acceptable. Limiting quarters should not be acceptable. If you want to pull your guys out, that's fine. You want to get time for your JVs and have them learn and see what you have in the cupboard, I'm okay with that. I'm here for it all day. Well, DJ, we don't have enough players. Then they finish. You know, if you walk into a stadium with 13 players, that there's opportunity that you don't finish that game with 13 players. You might not finish with 11. But those guys that remain should be proud. They should they should want to be ripped off of that field. I've been on both sides of it, right? I've been on really good teams. I've been on really bad teams. I've been part of the mercy clock on both sides. Under no circumstances, none, have I ever been there to look at my teammates in the eye and say, you know what, guys? Let's just hang it up. Let's call it a day. Because there's those moments. 7th inning, bottom of the 7th. You're down by 8. You got 2 outs. And all of a sudden you get a runner at first, runner at second, runner at third, double, clear the bases, runner at first, second, and third, clear the bases. That's why you finish. Give yourself a chance. Parents, you should demand accountability from everybody. Not even just your teams. There should be so many phone calls going to districts, organizations, whatever it may be. When a team cancels, when a team wants time off the clock. Give me an explanation one time, please, somebody that I can debate with you, friendly, of why I'm seeing 10-minute, 8-minute quarters in football games. If you have a continuous clock going already, that time is going to go. It's going to go. You don't need 8 minutes. You don't need 4 minutes taken off the clock. What does that do for you? That's almost an entire quarter. That's 3/4 of a quarter, as a matter of fact, that those kids will not have. So when they're sitting at their 20-year reunion and they're talking about, we made it through that season. Nobody else would have been able to do that. We toughed it out. We knew that, going in, it was going to be tough, but we did it together. That conversation will be had. It has been had. Trust me, it has been had. But instead you get, hey man, you remember that season? Yeah, it was tough. And remember how coach or whoever, I don't want to blame coach all the time. You remember how they kept taking time off the clock? What would you give to have that back, man? What would you give to have that time back? I promise you ask any 37, 38-year-old at this point in their life that played football, that played baseball, played any sport, that cared about it at all, they're going to want that time back. It's limited. It's precious. You don't get it back. You never can get it back. So don't take it from them. Well, somebody might say, oh, he's hurt. Injuries happen. That's what sports is. I'm sorry. It's tough. It's a challenge. But you should not be adding to that list of challenges. You should be trying to help them navigate. And if you're helping them navigate those waters and you think that, you know what, man, you're out in the middle of the ocean, just stop swimming. Just stop swimming. Nobody's going to save you. Shouldn't even try to save yourself. I wouldn't want to be that guy. I wouldn't want to see that happen. I wouldn't want that coach for my kid. I wouldn't want that coach for me. You should always give it, this sounds weird even saying this, you should always give it your best. Because you never know when it's going to be just enough. You never know when that moment is going to be the moment that changes your life forever. Yeah, you might lose by 70 points, but man, it was 77-7. We scored on them. Yeah, we lost in volleyball 3-0. One of them we were outscored by, 25-2. But man, we got that 2 points, and that team went on to win a state championship. They were good, but we were able to score on them. I'm not saying participation trophy. I'm saying little moments. Little moments. Participation trophy is, thanks for showing up. We're going to take time off the clock, and you just go ahead and grab your participation trophy on the way out. Here you go. Shine it up real nice. Turn it sideways. You know where it goes. I'm not here for all that. I'm not here for all that. I'm here for kids learning valuable lessons through sports. And the valuable lessons they're learning are they can't trust people to make solid decisions for them when they can't make it themselves. That's where we're looking at. We talked about cancellations, and now we're talking about the mercy clock and the mercy rules, and coaches on the losing end actually taking advantage of the mercy rule, which I never thought we'd ever talk about. Back in my day, when we got beat by 10 runs in baseball, we took it personally. Now they don't. Now it's like, okay, we're down 9. We're down 6 here in the 6th. Let's throw somebody's never pitched before. Let's just get this over with. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. And that is why people with the mindset of attack and the mindset of I will win no matter what happens are going to take over this world, no matter what they look like. And that is okay with me. Those are the leaders. Dad pitch, coach pitch, whatever you want to call it, like that mentality is not going to get it done. And that's why in varsity sports, you should not have that situation. Leaders should be in varsity sports. Parents are just as guilty, man. I'm telling you. Like, parents are just as happy to see that clock start because, well, by golly, we'll be able to get home by 9 o'clock and watch The Simpsons. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that at all. I hope you like my impressions, by the way. let's get to the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by Joe Dickey. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to get to Joe Dickey Electric. Tell them that YSN sent you. Head on over to DickeyElectric.com. All right, so I feel like I've been on a soapbox all day, so I'm going to kind of make this short and sweet, to the point. Ladies and gentlemen, officially, we will have a volleyball all-star game here in 2022 for YSN. We are breaking down the barriers. We are breaking down the rules right now. It looks like it's going to be 5 different sets with 10 different teams, I guess you could say. Each side representing, well, I'll let you, we'll catch up on that, but just some ideas that we have. So it'll be, each player will get 1 set. And I know that people are going to throw haymakers at us for this, but listen, it's really smart if you think about it, because we can get every single player in that we can. And here's the beauty of it. We'll be having it, and you'll be able to get through, I want to say 70 players, if I'm not mistaken, I think is what we ended up coming to. So 70 players will be able to come in. 70 players will be able to root for teammates that they've never had before. Obviously, if the players show, which we're expecting they do, because there's nothing like this, it will be, all the money from the tickets will go to a charity. And the charity is to be named in the coming weeks when we get everything finalized with the venue. And you'll hear more about it on YSN. I just wanted you to know first. And a couple notes again. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Golden Dawn. Tonight, 7:30, Legends. Golden Dawn, Ursuline, Legends, South Range. We want you there. We need you there. Show up, show out, have a good time, get some great food, and party with some of the best people you know. And hey, listen, if you're at Golden Dawn, you're partying with Steve and Quinn. That is going to be a good time. Romo will be there, I'm sure. And I will be over at Legends pulling duty for the Burgundy and Gold. Stop, say hi, introduce yourself. If you've already done that, introduce yourself again. It is a lot of people that we meet every day. So thank you very much for all the support. Head on out to those great restaurants tonight, and we will see you out there. That's going to do it for this show. Appreciate you hanging out. We will see you tomorrow with Richie Giuliano from 3 to 4 here on YSN. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching.